Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have my April wrap-up. I know what you're thinking, it's currently September and if you've been following this channel this year then you will have noticed that there have been a severe lack of anything other than my wool gathering videos over here. In terms of the wrap-ups, I just found them at the time a bit long and a bit like I was just repeating everything that I was already saying in my wool gathering videos because I will talk about the books that I'm currently reading in there. However, I am also something of a completionist, and because of that, I will not be able to record the best books that I read in X quarter of the year if I haven't at least got these videos recorded in some sort of way. And I now feel like I can record a wrap-up without feeling like it's some huge task. However, I am just going to list the books that I read in April and then tell you whether there's anything that I think that you should get your hands on. April, I actually read very few books, which was another reason that I wasn't particularly interested in recording a wrap-up, and I do believe that I'd actually talked about all of these books. However, in this month I read Case Histories by Kate Atkinson, A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, Shrines of Gaeity by Kate Atkinson, Inside by Joy Winkler and John Lindley, and 8 Detectives by Alex Pavesi. Oh, and apparently this is also the month that I finished listening to Life, the Universe and Everything by Douglas Adams. So a few books there, and actually having gone through the list, seemingly some that I do want to talk about. This was the month when I last read Kate Atkinson. I started the year really invested in the author, having reread Emotionally Weird, and was using that as a guide to how I wanted to write the charity shop novel. I've since moved away from that and I'm currently working on the second cozy crime novel. But at the start of the year, it was very much based on getting the first part of the charity shop novel finished, and I did that. The reason that I stopped reading Kate Atkinson is simply because I was recognising similarities in the plot. Indeed, in Case Histories, we actually have a scene redone that also appears in Life After Life, and I began to think that any fan of Kate Atkinson will have seen these books released sporadically over years. They weren't reading them one after the other like I was, so perhaps they weren't noticing these themes coming up again and again and these scenes being recreated. But as much as I really enjoy going to Kate Atkinson for the tales of family that she's going to do, her turn of phrase and this sense that I don't have to work too hard as a reader because she makes you feel comfortable as a reader. Having read Case Histories and not really, it's not that I didn't like it, it was just I was recognising too much of what had already come before, and it felt like the same sort of thing happening again, a story of family, and I've no issue with that. But then I went into Shrines of Gaeity, and Shrines of Gaeity is another tale about family, albeit set in the 1920s. And again, I did like this book. I still feel as though it doesn't really get started until the 250 page mark because you keep just running through all of these different characters. But it was nice to see Atkinson almost bring all of the different facets of her writing together in this one book. You have the historical fiction aspect, you have the detective fiction aspect, and you have the tale of family in there as well. So it does feel almost like she's built up to this, but I also felt like that with Life After Life. And I also didn't much care for the ending. However, I do know that other people have felt completely differently and find the ending is some sort of masterstroke. So again, it's just dependent on the reader that you are. A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson is a book that I have wanted to read for a while. I think it was simply because I had started doing a lot of walks in the local forest a few years ago. And I've really started enjoying walks through the countryside, which I never thought that I would say, and younger Charlie would be quite horrified by that. He'll probably be thinking about how many antihistamines are we taking, how are we getting through that without an asthma attack. I'm sorry to younger Charlie. But Walk in the Woods, I don't know if I liked it. That's what I'll say. I have a blog about this book. I don't really remember it that much, but I do remember thinking that it was a little bit dated in terms of some of the things that it said. But of course, this book was written near 30 years ago. But I will leave a link to a vlog that I recorded. I'm actually hoping that this vlog made it online. I spent an entire day reading this book. It was a Wednesday, it was pouring down with rain, I couldn't take the dog for a walk. So I sat down and read this book and recorded a vlog of it. Did that ever make it online? If it did, it's in the description, and if it didn't, I've absolutely no idea what happened to it. Inside, by Joy Winkler and John Lindley, is a collection of poems that they both wrote based on their work in Style Prison. It's actually a good insight into, well, the attitudes of people both in that system, people who have been imprisoned, and also into the attitudes of the people outside. And it was good to go to the launch of this because you got to hear both poets discuss their experiences, and then they did this question and answer session, which was a little bit illuminating. 8 detectives. I don't feel like I like this one. I feel like I thought it was trying too hard to be something different and didn't really do it well. But I also think I've talked about it before. I will say it's forgettable. I think that it's the one where somebody turns up to an author's house regarding these short stories that they wrote, all to do with detective fiction, and also wrote the rule book on crime fiction. And it seems like there might be something to do with the real life in there, but I honestly don't remember it well enough. I just remember thinking it a bit of a slog. And then Life, the Universe, and Everything by Douglas Adams was the last book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series that I remember enjoying. After that, I think this was the third, but the fourth and the fifth I did not enjoy as much as I did this one. And them's the books. If you have read any of these books and would like to discuss them, then please feel free to do so in the comments. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, because until next time, that is all.